Now to table number 2, and we welcome a real tough match player now back to his best, and that spells danger to them all. And both Joe Swale and Steve Davis have been defeated by the 3-times Embassy World quarterfinalists. Will you welcome the Robin Hood of snooker, Anthony Hamilton.
All the best, Anthony. Have a good game.
And his enigmatic, multi-talented opponent, unstoppable on his day, who makes this game look oh so easy. The former United Kingdom Embassy World Champion is playing superbly. Ladies and gentlemen, the Crucible welcomes Ronnie O'Sullivan.
All the best, Ron. Have a good game. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The first frame, Anthony Hamilton to break.
Bungled break-off shot for starters from Hamilton. Ronnie O'Sullivan. Will we see genius? Will we see gestures? Perhaps we'll see both.
That was very unlucky. If the pink goes, he's okay, but he was so close to removing that red next to the black there. And the pink might just pot. Well, if it goes onto the blue spot, that'll be much better for Ronnie. And it does.
7.
Yes, that was a poor break-off from Anthony Hamilton, but Anthony takes a while to get going. He's not the greatest early in the morning.
8.
He does like a bit of a lie-in every now and again, Anthony. Straight into the red full ball with lots of screw.
14.
Black's gone under the cushion. Pink not available to left corner. Blue not on spot.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 14.
Needed to clip that much thinner.
This is very awkward. If he can get through to have a go at the one into the left corner, he'd have to fully commit himself, because if he dropped it in, he would finish on the black, but if he missed it, he'd leave the one to the right of the black. So this is much more awkward, bridging over the blue. Oh, what a sweet shot that was.
Having to elevate the backhand like that meant that the slightest deviation from centre ball striking was going to carry the cue ball away from the potting angle.
Anthony Hamilton, 1.
That was a very important shot, as Hamilton well realised, and he could have done with it being a bit easier, because he knew that if he got it, he was away, but if he missed it, then O'Sullivan was likely to settle for a substantial break.
One.
I mean, these are always very difficult, and it was close, but not close enough. Meanwhile, it looks as if the black will have to go on to the blue spot. Well, maybe there's just enough room. No.
8. Nine.
Now, if he can this time, he'd probably play for the red that's on the black spot. If he could get nicely onto that, he's got the 3 reds to play for, but if he drops on that and removes it and gets up for the black, then you can get the black back onto its own spot. Can't do it this time.
16.
So it'll be the outside of the 3 reds.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 16.
Even screwing back with side, that's not a ball that you would expect to see O'Sullivan miss.
One.
Now this is a little bit awkward, especially with the blue situated where it is. You might have to screw between the yellow and brown to get back up the table. Might not have the angle to do that. In fact, I don't think he has, because the black is not on the blue spot, it's just off. So he'd have to really get into this to avoid brown and yellow. It was never going to be easy. He couldn't go between the green and the brown because of the blue.
8. Nine.
Not the worst glance he could have had off the pink.
Yeah, he needs to get in either or anywhere near either of the circles to leave one of those 3 reds. Might be able to screw back and avoid the middle pocket and get there. Now, is there any side on it? Yeah, he played that with reverse side, so it's a pretty good shot there from Anthony.
12.
Just off straight the wrong side, so Hamilton has got to hammer this to get on a colour.
Now he's got a slight chance of potting the pink, going down past the green and blue and back up into that position again for the 2 reds. Just a little bit of a disturbance there. But just maybe someone just settling in their seat, but he has got the angle here to go down the table, and if he can force back up to anywhere near that area, he'll be okay for those 2 reds. It's a little bit pacey. It's still
19.
on, but Another few inches up the table would have been perfect.
Anthony Hamilton, 19.
Tricky little shot, that.
Yes, we keep talking about the game of snooker, all about fractions, and if you're slightly out of position, it makes it so much more difficult. Can just get through to the one, I think, over the pocket. There you see it.
One.
Good kiss.
Don't think he's got an angle to get to the red near the black spot, so he's taking the black, which is a much more difficult pot, but that will give him better position. He can screw up for that red. And if he gets, well, he's gone a bit straight on this red.
8.
Like on the pink spot.
Nine.
Bit of a problem now. He's going to have to leave that one to the left. And if he takes the black, he's going sort of up past the middle of the table. He's just looking to see there. He might be able to drop it in dead weight, and be interesting to see if he plays the next shot left-handed, because he was lining it up left-handed. Gone a bit far. He'll need the rest now.
$16.
Looks very calm this morning.
Yes, he does, but
17.
who knows what's bubbling away inside.
Mentioned about Anthony not liking an early morning start. No problem for Ronnie O'Sullivan. He tends to get up when he's playing a 10. He'll be up at 6, 6:30 in the morning. And most mornings
25.
he runs 7 or 8 miles, believe it or not. But he does look pretty fit at the moment.
You need to be pretty fit to have the mental stamina
32.
for a championship like this. Just a red and colour needed now.
33.
O'Sullivan then
40.
has the opening frame in the bag.
$41.
Missed a close range straightish red early on, but no other notable mistakes in this opening frame.
Yes, he looks to be cooing really smoothly at
48.
the moment. And it was great to see
49.
the 6 times Embassy World Champion Ray Reardon up early this morning. He was in the practice room with Ronnie. Great to see him around the Crucible Theatre.
55. $57. 60.
Strong left of centre striking. Straighten the cue ball up off the cushion.
64, thanks. $69. 75. $82 in the first round.
There's a warning sign to anybody in the way that O'Sullivan polished up that first frame with a clearance of 82. He leads by a frame to 0. I don't know what O'Sullivan's slight concern is about. Well, I did see a steward have a word with two spectators sitting to O'Sullivan's immediate right.
Yeah, I think Ronnie was saying to him, did you want some water? It's just a gentleman on the end seat there, so maybe the steward's gone to get him a glass of water.
Do you want a glass of water or anything? Do you want a glass of water? Or? You okay? Okay.
Ah, he's got a cough,
Yeah.
that gentleman.
Do you want another mug of hot water then? Oh. Do you want some hot water?
No, it's cold now.
O'Sullivan is such a redoubtable front runner that if he does get a few frames in front, he can just get better and better. And there were signs in that opening
Thank you.
frame
Second frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
of just what great touch he's in.
Good break-off shot. But no real problem for Anthony here. He can come off a couple of cushions and just nestle into the pack. Just off 2 cushions, and he shouldn't leave that one that's to the right of the bunch. As long as he doesn't hit them too hard, just gently into them.
Touching ball.
From the touching ball situation, O'Sullivan could, with his knowledge of angles, place the cue ball just about where he wanted. Anthony Hamilton, the best player ever to come from Nottingham, although the first ever championship saw Tom Dennis from that city reach the final. That was in 1927. Didn't mean to hit that one.
It's touching ball.
Well, it's touching, so maybe he can't get to the potting angle of that one to the right. Well, he might just be, but he's got to be careful. The referee, Jan Verhaas, will have a look at this, because if the red moves, it would be a foul. But he's playing away from it. And straight in the heart of the pocket. think Ronnie O'Sullivan is going to be a handful here this morning for Anthony Hamilton. Anthony has beaten him. Ronnie's
8.
won 5 of their 6 meetings, but they've had some very close matches, 2 5-4s and a 6-4, so Anthony's always
9.
played fairly well against Ronnie.
They've also practiced together quite extensively, and as Hamilton put it the other day, Ronnie knows what I can do. Maybe the end red is possible to right middle.
16.
Yes, it all looked fairly safe, and then just at the end of that shot, the red just seemed to get nudged out.
Okay.
Yeah, when he screwed into the reds, just watch it. He played it fairly well. Now, it looked safe there. The other red just nudged that one about half an inch, and it is on for the middle.
$17.
Bit short. Have to play for the loose red to the right of the bunch here. I'm just wondering if the 2 reds
22.
are a plant. Ronnie's having a look, but they don't look to be. If they're touching and they're not in a direct line, he might be able to make it. It looked to be just going to the right of the pocket, so I think he could make this.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 22.
Made sure he was getting the cue ball back behind the baulk line in case he didn't. Had he been sure of that, he would have played it in such a way as to leave the cue ball short of the baulk line.
This would be a confidence booster if he knocked this in and got on the black.
Because Hamilton's attempted red is finished in baulk, the clip away safety is not an option. O'Sullivan attempted that in such a way that he had every chance of covering it with yellow or brown if it didn't drop.
I think he might just be able to slip past the brown and get to the potting angle.
One.
Needs another good pot though to keep this effort going. No problem with the position because of the red up near the cue ball there. So just
Four.
he really does have a good cue action, Anthony Hamilton. He's got a lovely pause before he delivers the cue, and that's why he can generate so much backspin. So he's got a red either side of the bunch. He doesn't have to go into them here. But he still is. And I think on that occasion,
8.
He could have played for either red, and then he would have had maybe a better angle to get into them. But he fancied it, so if you're feeling good, you might as well have a go and open up the whole of the game.
Anthony Hamilton, 8.
Well, that certainly opened things up.
Doesn't like this. There's no convenient red on the left-hand side of the table to clip off to return to baulk.
Yes, it's one of those, Clive. If you can't see a safety shot, do you take the pot on? That's going over the corner pocket. He got a good cue ball, but a bit unlucky to cannon a red and come all the way down and stop over that corner pocket. Good chance now. It was Ronnie who opened the reds up with his previous safety shot, and it's Ronnie who's going to take advantage of that now.
One.
You might just have to use the pink as a stopper here. It's a bit of a delicate little screw shot just to hold for a red. Yeah, you could manage it. There's one to the middle, one to the left of the pink. You don't really want to risk canning into a pink at that stage because you could stick on it.
Seven. Twelve. Thirteen.
O'Sullivan has attracted all sorts of headlines for all sorts of reasons in this championship.
18.
But the basic fact remains that of all the contenders, he has been the most impressive.
Yes, I think
19.
Ronnie, and I would have to say Ian McCulloch from Preston has made some fantastic breaks in his matches against Peter Ebden
26.
and Alan McManus. Ronnie, as you say, looks very impressive.
27.
And he will take some stopping this year.
To me, he looks deadly once he gets in.
34.
His 5 centuries against Andy Hicks in the previous round
35.
was a record for a best of 25. And he already holds the record 5 centuries in a best of 19. When he gets in, there seems to be such an air of certainty about him.
And now he just switches to his left
43.
hand. And he's played it perfectly. The right side of the blue. I mean, this is quite incredible how he does this. It's hard to stress it enough because I used to be renowned as a good
48.
left-handed player, but that was because I couldn't use the rest. But I could only play certain shots left-handed. This fella can knock
49.
them in from anywhere on the table with his opposite hand.
56.
Yes, I've seen him play whole frames, even almost a whole match,
57.
left-handed.
I think he's got to move the red. It might be on. Yes, it'll go. There's enough of it sticking out there.
64.
Well,
Anthony Hamilton.
the red was very slightly
Well, it's
protected
over 64
by the
in
pink.
play.
He could only just reach the popping angle. So the break ended on 64, but already it had guaranteed him a 2-0 lead. Impressive start from O'Sullivan. Not much yet seen of Hamilton.
He's had very little chance in the two opening frames. Anthony Hamilton hasn't really been in amongst the balls. But he knows Ronnie's game so well, so he'll be patient and wait for that chance. But sometimes you don't get many against Ronnie.
Thank you. The third frame. Anthony Hamilton to break.
There you had a perfect example, Clive. People say, what ball do you look at before you deliver the cue? The cue ball or the object ball? And that break-off shot, you could see Anthony's eyes going to the object ball just before he delivered the cue.
Thanks, Ron.
Yes, the purpose of, or one of the purposes of the pause at the end of the last backswing is to give the player time to get his eyes from the cue ball to the last time to the object ball, so that he's looking at the object ball at the moment of impact.
Now, has that one been nudged out, and is it available to the right middle pocket? If it was a little bit straighter, he could take that and screw back for the black, but it's not on. And this is quite a thin one, but he would finish on a balk colour if this goes in.
That was close range, so there was no reason why Hamilton should have hit that so thick.
Nah, has the white gone far enough? Well, everybody's having a look. 3 in a row there, Anthony, Ronnie and Jan. Because the referees these days, they've got to be so alert, and in the old days you just sort of refereed, set the balls up, counted. Now they've got to work out where the ball is in case a miss is played, so they keep them on their toes out there, Clive.
Very much so. There's more to it than calling the score and keeping out of the player's way. Played with strong right of centre striking, which just bent the cue ball into the potting angle. It was a good pot, using that amount of side spin. Unfortunately, he still wasn't able to get position.
Brown ball. Anthony Hamilton 1.
Be a bit careful. This needs a thinnish contact to avoid hitting the red there to the left. And you can see he had a little touch aside to bring that back into the safety zone. There's two possible pots, but they're both very difficult. The one to the right, he'd go straight into the red next to it, so not a lot of value in that. And the one to the left of the bunch, if he took that on, he'd have to find a path around the back of the black. So if he takes this pot on here, might be able to swing it past the red and back around the table. No, just the safety.
O'Sullivan suggested in one of his press conferences that there ought to be one tournament for the exciting players and another tournament for the others. I don't think he could have been completely serious, but he did go on to say there are some players who like to dog you about, and in Hamilton's case that might not be bad tactics, although when the opportunities come along he's still got to score, and score heavily. You've dogged a few about in your time, Dennis.
Well, it wasn't my fault. It was that Steve Davis and Cliff Thorgan and Terry Griffiths that got me at it. But if you get a tactical player, you can't just go all out to try and pot them off the table. You've got to compete in the safety battle, and even the greatest players that's played the game are very good tactical players.
Including O'Sullivan when he needs to be.
I watched a match commentated on a match between Ronnie and Mark Williams a couple of seasons ago. Can't remember whether it was I think it was the LG Cup or whatever it was, but some of the safety that was played in it was incredible. There was some great breaks made, but some of the tactical play was superb. Well, it's a bit of a chance, but at first glance, if he can't pot this red and screw back behind the black, there's not a lot on for Anthony here. And there you can see if he screwed the white back, he would hit the black. So this is fairly safe. Ronnie was rather fortunate there. Well, he's going to have to force an angle here. It was virtually impossible to get the other side of the black.
So O'Sullivan's mistake, which looked as if it could be serious, is only going to cost him a single point.
Anthony Hamilton 1.
A little bit awkward now with the red up the other end of the table. Maybe a little bit of tactical play for a while. This was Ronnie's previous attempt at quite a difficult pot, and once he hit that black, opened things up, did well to finish in that position.
The fates were definitely on his side there.
If the angle's there, it's a slight possibility you could get tight in behind the black. Seemed to get a bit of a kick there. I think that slight heavy contact just took the white offline slightly. It seemed to be a natural angle just to, yeah, just a little bit of a jump. It was a natural angle to get closer to the black. Good shot. Ronnie can only roll up to something here because he's so close to the back cushion. Usually when you're in this position, you've got the black on its spot and you've got something to play behind when you come onto this top cushion, but there's nothing nothing there, just as close as possible to the cushion. That's what you're looking for.
It's Hamilton asking the questions, though, in this exchange. He's the shot in front, as they say.
It's pretty easy for Ronnie just to roll to the red there, just nestle onto it. If he just rolls up to the one in the circle there, everything's safe, or even the other one, at the moment it doesn't matter which one he rolls to.
Hamilton very careful in playing these safeties, not to leave something on to one of the middle pockets.
I wonder, is he trying to tempt Ronnie with that one into the left middle pocket? He's just testing Ronnie's patience here, and that Ronnie might be accepting the challenge.
You shouldn't always resist temptation, and it's very dangerous to tempt O'Sullivan.
That was such a good pot. Not so much the pot being difficult, but look what he did with the cue ball to get onto the blue. Unbelievable. And he can open the pink and reds up now. And there we have all the reds open.
6.
Well, I think there's a slight little smile there because Anthony couldn't quite believe the shot that Ronnie pulled off there. He's a bit close to this one, but it's the red that'll give him better position. The one that's closest to the pink is on for the right corner, but he wouldn't get as good a cue ball, so he's got to be careful with this one. Played it well.
7.
He probably
12.
would normally roll the red in and leave the black, but the reason he won't do that is because of the red to the left of the black spot.
$13.
Didn't matter what side of the blue he got that time because his red's up in the balk area.
$18. $19.
Just watch for the whites coming. He was leaving himself a chance of getting on all 4 reds there.
22. $23.
Decided to take the opportunity to get the black back on its spot, but the only problem is it will be available into one corner.
$30.
The story of this frame seems likely to be 10-minute safety duel. Great pot to the middle pocket from O'Sullivan. Decisive break.
$31.
He's got such a quick brain, Ronnie O'Sullivan, as regards to the game of snooker. He
36.
sees everything. There's someone just moving in the audience there.
Thank you.
Because they're so close to you here, so the front couple of rows, the people are right next to you. There you see how close they are.
$37.
Now, if he's got the angle, he can get rid of the red that's blocking one corner. Just screw in behind it here.
44. 45.
Well, Anthony must be sitting in his seat wondering what's happened this frame.
52.
He left attempter. And that shot that Ronnie
53.
played, I think I've heard we have a shot at the championship. That will get a mention.
It's certainly
60.
been very influential in this frame, because
61.
this frame winner has flowed from it. O'Sullivan polished off the opening frame with a clearance
67.
of 82.
68.
Took the second with a run of 64.
He just looks in devastating form at the moment.
74. 75.
Apart from one red that he missed early in the opening frame, he's not missed a thing.
And you'll not see many better breaks because he's had to work so hard for this.
77. 78.
Yeah, this is just sheer brilliance.
82. 84. 87.
And I think Clive gets such a buzz out of performing like this. This is what he lives for, I think.
91.
And when he doesn't perform at his best, it upsets him.
96.
And sometimes leads to behaviour which lays him open to criticism.
102.
Terrific stuff. A
Ronnie
clearance
O'Sullivan.
of 109 gets O'Sullivan away to a 3-0 lead. And this is how it started. Hamilton left him a tempter. That was a great putt from tight on the cushion. He guided the cue ball through the other balls and polished off the rest of the balls for that great 109 clearance. The two players have both left the arena. We'll pick up commentary on their return.
You're just so close by, you can see every movement, see, so it doesn't matter. It's all right. Sorry. Cheers. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The fourth frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
O'Sullivan is such a devastating front runner that if Hamilton doesn't start soon, he might not get the chance to start at all effectively. O'Sullivan could be so far in front as to be uncatchable. Hamilton, the survivor of 2 very tough matches, beating Steve Davis 10-7, Joe Swale 13-11. And after those matches, somebody in a press conference said to Hamilton, "You've not been mentioned as a title contender, Anthony." And he said, "Rightfully so, I can't pot a ball," which, of course, was an exaggeration. But he did go on to add that he needed to have a couple of days on the practice table because, as he put it, "My action's gone west."
Well, Ronnie, in fact, tapped the table twice in acknowledgement to that very good safety shot from Anthony Hamilton. Now this is a bit of a chance. If he can slot this red into the right corner, drop nicely on. Well, he'd probably try for the blue. If he goes too far, he'll have yellow or green. He's overcut it. That's why the white has run away to the balk area right up near the cushion. Just overcut that one. He needs to get an easier chance just to get in amongst them. But he should have potted that. A Ronnie special, is it? Unbelievable. One. You just sensed that he was going to knock that in. But he didn't hit it too hard. He gave the pocket every chance. He cued that one perfectly.
O'Sullivan's got great cue power.
8.
The secret is that he's so smooth going through the ball. And he seems to have been born with a ramrod straight cue action.
Nine.
He keeps everything perfectly still as well.
15.
His head hardly moves a fraction. Stephen Hendry's very much like that, and it looks so easy to do, but playing the game of snooker and forcing shots, it's so difficult to keep that head perfectly still. Well, that worked
20.
out very nicely indeed.
Yes, he couldn't have played to get through a gap like that.
But isn't it
21.
usually the case when you're really playing well, you get all the little flicks that work out nicely? It's when you're struggling that last type of shot you would have flicked the reds and finished on
28.
nothing. But Anthony can't do a single thing about this. Okay, missed that chance to cut
29.
the red in, but when you've made the mistake, you've got to sit and just hope that your opponent can break down.
36. 37.
'They're all fairly quick frames, 14 minutes for the first, 13 minutes for the
44.
second. And although the third frame lasted 20
45.
minutes, 10 minutes of that was a safety battle. The frame when Ronnie got in was over in under 10 minutes.
$52. 53.
And if the next shot works out correctly, it could be another century break, because he's going to open the reds and he'll be guaranteed the one that's in the open there.
60.
Didn't have to go into the reds with a lot of
61.
pace previously, because he knew they were going to open like this.
The way O'Sullivan is playing,
68.
one decent chance per frame is all he needs.
69.
He's got such great shot selection, such great control once he's in close that he looks as if he's never going to break down, although
76.
he did on that occasion get a heavy contact from that black. That wasn't his intended next red.
77.
Not that it made any difference.
He didn't let the contact, the bad kick, affect him there. He got down and slotted that very difficult red in. Okay, the frame was safe, but this really is
84.
an unbelievable display of snooker.
85.
He's the most naturally gifted player the game's ever produced.
Joe Perry's 145 is not under threat for the highest
93.
break prize. Not in this frame anyway.
$98. 99.
Back-to-back centuries then.
106.
Polished off the last frame with 109.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 106.
And has secured his 4-0 lead at the mid-session interval with a break of 106.
As quiet as possible, please. Thank you.